Hey guys, Cyber Aquarius coming to you with a real-time update on both of my reef tanks. It's been about a month and a half since I posted my last video. This is a new addition. This is my Hellfreechy firefish. It's been in the tank now for a month. And I have one other fish in here that I'm going to try to show you guys if he makes an appearance. But the last video I showed you guys a high-fin red-banded goby, and I modified the screen lid to keep it from jumping out because I had one before that jumped out. So I modified the screen lid, closed up all the gap. There is no gap whatsoever around the tank. But that second fish only lasted 4 days. Found it right there on the floor, same as the last one. I haven't given up on trying to keep one of those. I'm going to order another one, a third one, after I place another order for corals. But I wanted to go ahead and get some fish in here because I got tired of losing the high fin, so I went ahead and went with some other fish there. That high fin, he has been hiding out up there in that little cave back there, but now he's starting to associate me with food, so he's starting to make more and more appearances. And the second fish was really hard for me to find. I searched the internet thoroughly. I finally had to get on Live Aquaria's back order list for them to email me when the fish came in stock. And it came in, here he is over here by the, if I can get a shot of him, he's hiding up underneath the octo spawn. That's one of his favorite places to hide. This is my Tanaka pygmy wrasse, sticking his head out. There he goes, guys. There you go. Since he's been in the tank, I've seen less and less of the copepods. There were tons of them in this tank before I added him, but that little guy, he constantly prowls amongst the rocks, snapping at anything he can find. Really fantastic fish. He shows himself all the time until I come in here and adjust the lights and get my camera out, and he'll tend to be shy. But guys, I went on a business trip 3 weeks ago out of town, and I had to leave the dosing of both of my aquariums up to my 17-year-old son, who has no interest whatsoever in the hobby. But he did a really good job of maintaining both tanks. He didn't miss any of my doses on the 38, but on the 25 here, he forgot to dose my alkalinity supplement in the mornings. When I got home, my alkalinity was down to 7 degrees carbonate hardness, and I had an algae bloom. I think he overfed. You still see a little bit of the algae there in the back left, and right here on the GSP rock, there's still a little bit hanging on. The worst spot was up here in the front right. This is still hanging in there, but it's definitely going away. I've been religiously changing out my Phosguard every 3 days. I'm changing out half the recommended amount. It's better to gradually reduce your phosphates. You don't want to just drop them all of a sudden. So I've been going that route, and phosphates are actually back down to 0 now after 2 weeks of keeping that regimen. But guys, I'm not going to rely on anyone else to dose my aquariums while I'm away. So I went ahead and invested in 2 dosing pumps. I purchased 2 of the J-Bow DP4s. I set the first one up on the 25 day before yesterday. Just going to show you guys a quick little glimpse of it down here. I'm going to do a specific video on this dosing pump because there's something I need to mention. When calibrating, you're supposed to calibrate each motor head with 100 milliliters of solution in order for it to calculate what 1 milliliter would be. Well, I did that, and then I checked my first dose by taking an API test tube. I held it up underneath my alkalinity return line, and it actually dosed 2 milliliters instead of 1 milliliter. So it doubled the dose. So I figured, well, if it's doing that with 100 milliliters, I would calibrate it with 50 milliliters. So I went back and I recalibrated both of the heads with 50 milliliters of solution. And every time I get a dose now, I'm getting 1 milliliter just like I programmed. Now this enables me to dose my supplements throughout the day and throughout the night. No more manual dosing. Dosing 1 milliliter or actually 6 milliliters of Aquavitro's 8-4 throughout the night in 1 milliliter increments. The first dose is at 1 o'clock in the morning, second dose at 3, then at 5, 7, 9, and 11 before the lights come on at 12. And then my calcium supplement of calcification is dosed 1 milliliter at 4 o'clock p.m. and then 1 milliliter at 8 o'clock p.m. Right now my parameters are perfectly stable, and I'm going to add Seachem's phytoplankton and zooplankton in 2 more dosing containers, little homemade dosing containers that I'll show in a video. And yeah, this tank's doing really well. The back 2 rocks, I have big plans for those. There's only 2 corals right now. The screaming green bird's nest, back left, and my red cap here on the right. But I plan on adding SPS corals to those back rocks once everything is dialed in and this tank gets a little bit more age to it. Everything settles in. And I've also swapped out the auto top-off systems. I took the auto top-off from the 38 gallon and I put it on this tank because I'm using the Tom's aqua lifters. What it's doing is administering the RODI water much slower to this very small return chamber, and it's not dumping the water in like the MJ900 was doing. Whenever the auto top-off would kick on, you'd see a blast of fresh water just blow across the reef. And that that would drop the salinity in those areas considerably for a short period of time. So swapping over to the Tom's aqua lifter has made the changes in salinity much less. And then on the 38 gallon, bring you guys up to speed on that. Put the auto top off system over here with the MJ900, and with the extra head pressure from the height of this aquarium and the volume of the return chamber, it's much better suited for this tank. My new skimmer, the Reef Octopus, is doing fantastic. I was starting to get traces of nitrate from the feedings of fuel and phytoplankton that I was giving this tank, but now they're back down to 0 because of the skimmer. This tank has been set up now for 2.5 years. I can't really speak of anything that has happened other than the female Ocellaris clownfish killed most of my torch coral, which damaged a lot of the other corals in the tank. And I've pulled some of these corals out and put them into 25. So this tank is going to get a facelift here in the next few months. I'm going to be pulling out my Kenya tree coral, some of these zoanthid colony rocks here in the back, and you'll notice that this rock that was once covered is missing some zoas, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. But I'm going to be replacing those corals with some SPS, and let's see, I'm going to also clean up this area right here. I'm going to get rid of these rocks and add in some of my 8 purple reef rock and get some different corals for down there in the bottom, replacing the acans. But going towards my zoanthids, tell you guys what's been going on. My fire shrimp has developed an appetite for zoanthids. I witnessed this guy down here in the lower right hand corner about a month ago eating on them. My closest local fish store is 45 miles away, one way, and I haven't had a chance to make a special trip to get rid of it. But I will be either getting rid of that shrimp and adding some sexy shrimp to this tank, or just not have any decorative shrimp at all. I'm just more concerned with the corals and the fish. And I was also going to tell you that my Spinosa clam is hosting my, that's crazy, but my small Ocellaris clownfish. He gets down in there and treats it just like as if it were an anemone, and this thing has not closed up on him at all. I've really been nervous about that. I've seen videos of clams, pinched down on the head of a small clownfish. It's funny, when I put my hand in the tank, the clam will close up, but that clownfish just stays right there with it all the time, and he's not bothered with it. So, and if you don't believe that a fire shrimp will eat zoanthids, do your research. I just finished reading this entire book, Marine Invertebrates by Dr. Ronald Shimmick, and it mentions in here that fire shrimp as well as peppermint shrimp are polyp eaters, and they can develop an appetite for zoanthids, which mine has done. My skunk cleaner shrimp is no longer in this tank. It died. They have a life expectancy of 2.5 to 3 years, and it was in this tank for 2.5 years. So no surprise there, they don't live forever. The fire shrimp was added at the same time, so he's probably on the tail end of his lifespan. If I can get rid of him, fine. If not, I mean, these zoas are coming out anyway, being replaced. And I'll be setting up the dosing pump on this tank over the weekend. Many more changes to come, guys. I'm trying to keep you all updated a little bit more. Just been really hectic at work, you know, being out of town, staying busy with the kids. And but yeah, I mean, still staying full force active in the hobby. You know, just constantly working on these tanks, monitoring all the levels, upgrading equipment, getting fish in, and I should be getting another order of corals in here in the next month or so. And we'll just, you know, get some changes going on in this tank. This pink wall hammer coral that I got at Vivid Aquariums, I'm really loving this thing. I thought I was going to like the golden hammer better, but this pink hammer here is just really responded nicely. Getting real plump. The octospawn is doubled the size of when I first put it in the tank. The only thing is the bubble coral. That guy there, he just retracted after that drop in my alkalinity. But we'll keep him in there, and we'll just hope that he comes around pretty soon. Alright guys, well, I don't want to keep you all too long. I really appreciate you all watching the video. Until next time, everybody take care.